I purchased this vehicle recently from one of the repair shops, and they said the customer did a lot of work to it. It's a solid van. You're gonna like it. And yeah, I already like it a lot. This thing is completely done. All right, let's get it done. Welcome to Beyond Repair. Today we're doing the basic brake job on the 2011 Dodge Grand Caravan. Gonna be the same for Chrysler Town & Country, Volkswagen Routan, all of the cars that look pretty much the same. Today I want to look up the front and rear because I'll be rotating the tires, and this car is in the basic and most basic trim. There is no rolling windows for the rear, there's nothing else. It's just as basic as it gets, and it comes with the steel wheels. What does it mean? You cannot see much what's going on until you pull the tire, and while I was driving here, it's grinding as bad as it gets, even when you're not touching the brake. And I definitely know it's coming from the driver's left, so the front left. So I got myself two brake pads. I got the BE1327, BE1326H, the 1326H for the rear, 1327 for the front. There is an option, and I also have this car. It's I have a 2014 Chrysler Town & Country, which is red, and it has a bigger wheels and it has a bigger brakes. So you have to make sure, if your car is with alloy wheels, look underneath, and if you have massive gigantic brake caliper, well, you would need a different brake pads for the front, but the rest should be the same for, you know, any other car, any other Grand Caravan, Town & Country, Routan, because this is the same car, it's just a different batch. So today we're doing the basic brake job. I know my brakes are in terrible condition, and I will tell you one more thing: if you buy a jack, don't buy Pittsburgh 2-ton, because it's not enough to lift up this van, and I have to use something else. So if you want a smaller jack, go to the spec sheet and just make sure it's gonna be enough to lift up, you know, any car. I recently discovered if you take the 3/8 and put it right here, it's gonna be much more convenient than the screwdriver or something flat to lift up your car. Now when I'm editing this video, I can tell you it's over 20 minutes. So if you are here to see how to replace the rear brake pads, I have another video on the channel. If you are here to see the front pads, this is the video for you. Shall we? If you're watching this video and you're producing car jacks, send me one. I would love to get one. I should do it. To be fair and square, I purchased this vehicle recently from one of the repair shops, and they said the customer did a lot of work to it. It's a solid van. You're gonna like it. And yeah, I already like it a lot. Ooh, that's disaster. That's disaster. Look, look. That's disaster. Look. Wow, that's bad. I can only imagine how bad it is. Oh my gosh, look, it's red. It's probably still hot. Okay, so be mindful. The rear is good, the front is done. It's completely went to the inside and it's grind. Oh boy. All right, let's get it done. So let me tell you the proper procedure for that. The proper procedure for that would be to first and foremost, you have to open the hood and open the cap for the brake fluid. By the look of it, it looks to be all right. The brake fluid looks good, and the proper procedure in this case would be to remove the rotor and turn over. What it means, when they take it to the machine and grind a layer from this rotor until it's going to be completely smooth. That's the proper way of doing it. Well, in my case, I don't have a machine, nor I have a patience of doing that. It's not that deep. You can definitely run a nail there, but what I will do, I'll take the caliper off. Since this is the outside, I have access. I'll use some sandpaper to smooth it out as much as I can and kind of remove the debris and metal shavings. But I'm not gonna take the rotor. I'm not gonna replace the rotor. The easy way, if you're doing it at your garage, at your house, is to buy the rotor and just change it completely. In my case, it looks to be somewhat fresh. It's not like, you know, old. Normally you have markings on those rotors. I don't think we can clearly see it because the front is locked, but there should be a space which will have a notch, and if you pass this notch you have to replace the rotor. But the rotor is thick and it's still looking okay. Let me do all the work, and while I'm doing it I will explain more. 13 mil. So if it's a driver's front, going down would be locking, going up will be unlocking. You'll just take it and force it. That's probably gonna be tight. Okay, bring a hammer if you don't like to hit your hand and feel it for the rest, you know, rest of the week. We just take the 13 mil out. We just do the same on the bottom. Have another 13. Okay, I got it. Now, normally you see stuff like that on the inside because that's where the caliper is pressing, but surprise, surprise, I can clearly see it on the outside. Well, this is the brake kit, basic Chinese kit. It comes with a hook, and I don't like using it, but I do like hooks because this is a big caliper. You don't want to rest it just somewhere. You want to securely store it away from your work zone. So now this is your inside pad, and it's definitely done. I don't know why I wasn't making more noises before, because you see it should be on the wear, it should be making noises. All right, that's my outside, and the dessert, the best part of the meal. This thing is completely done. Oh that's bad. All right, okay, first you take your pad and you match it. You want to make sure it's the same size, and yes, this is the same size. Second, you find inner and outer. If you go with the premium pads, they have a blue disc, I believe. This one is BE1327. Those will come with the towel, which is also nice, and the brake loop. But I don't see the new hardware, which sucks, because Bosch, come on, it should be with the new hardware. Like a rear comes with the new hardware, but the front doesn't. What's gonna... Why somebody took my hardware? Because normally I see the hardware in a package. Well, it's not a big deal. You can technically reuse it, but whenever you can, you should buy a new one. You don't have to clean it. You can just simply, you know, put the new ones, lube it up, and good to go. If you want to do it right, go to the store. Most of the auto parts stores will be able to provide you with the new hardware for your car, because it's pretty much the same for most of the cars. That's why they normally carry them in stock. You see why it comes with a towel? Because you're gonna be using it a lot. And in order to do it right, you have to clean it. I also like Bosch because normally you don't have a problem with putting the new brake pads and they will be making noises. The other thing that can cause noises is when your rotor has uneven wear and it's gonna be shaking the pad, making some noises. And cheap pads, like you buy in China stuff, no names, or just got to the market, they will start making noises like the pad is bad or something like that since new. So stay away from brands that you don't know, brands that did not exist a few years ago, because you don't want that headache. You will still spend money. If you're gonna save 10, 15, 20 bucks, I don't know, you will end up spending it more on labor. You take the inner pad, which is the one that's gonna go on the inside. So in this case it's gonna go like this. We take the brake lube, and we generously put a ton on the pad, on the sliding portion, which is those two, because it will allow to reuse the hardware and make it easy and smooth. So normally I put extra on the tip so I can lubricate the hardware. Here's how it goes. Look at the tip on the metal. I'll show you on the outside. So when it's outside, you normally come in this way and put it in. Yep, now it goes inside, and just keep it there. You can move it left and right a little bit to lubricate the hardware. Be careful, it will pop up. So here's how it goes when you can see it. In and push it inside slowly so you don't throw away the other side. Squeeze it, you're good. Now I also highly recommend to lubricate the outside portion of the shims. That will eliminate extra noises. If your brake pads don't have a shim, it's a cheap stuff, stay away from it. Why we are lubricating when we have shims? Most of the people will argue you don't have to do it. Well, I've seen enough where you have shims and where you have branded pads. I'm not gonna call the manufacturer, which is widely available at your parts stores, and their shims making noises if you don't lubricate them. That's why. So you don't want to go here twice. You lubricate the heck out of it and you're good to go. Now let's do the pins and then we'll do the caliper. You take the pin, you take this nice towel that was nice before I started, and clean it. Make it nice and shiny. All right, now we get the lube and we put a lot, like literally a lot. Now you bring it over and you start twisting it so the more lube it will go inside, and you push the rubber seal and clean up the rest. Now you have to press a few times while rotating, so it's gonna be sliding like nothing. You're good to go. Same story for the other one. I'm using 100. That should do the trick. I'll take a piece of wood. Okay. It's deeper than I can scuff, so the rest will be taken by the brake pad. Let's clean up the caliper, at least what we can reach, because now we're gonna be pushing it inside, and you want to make sure it's not gonna be pushing too much dirt to the brake fluid. Try to reach to all different spots as much as possible. I don't expect you to do perfect. Let's see if I can use the basic tool. This is the brake caliper tool. This is the basic one. Here's what I'm doing. I'm using the pad. I was here and I'm bringing this tool to push it in. Sometimes they go in without special tools. If you're having trouble with something like that, you can always go to your parts store and just borrow a toolkit like this. Then you would have to match your brake caliper to the adapter and do all the fun stuff, because sometimes manufacturers want you to rotate this piston, the caliper piston, before it will let you squeeze it. You know what I mean? This one seems to be working, at least for now, but let's see. Because cleaning is the most like time-consuming part of doing the brakes, you know, cleaning and trying to get the inner portion, like inner pad, that's the most consuming. So it's gonna go flat, and as soon as you see it, it's pretty much stops rotating. Take it out, as long as it's flat with the rest of the caliper, with the beginning of the caliper. Take it out, remove the pad, you're all set. Here's what you do. You bring it over and you get the inner outer pad aligned and push it in. Now when it's gonna be next to those two bolts that we removed previously, which is 13 mil, you want them to get into the threads while you moving the caliper up and down. Now you take the second one. It's very important to do them together. If it's spinning, it will be spinning right here, and you'll be able to take the second wrench, put it right here and lock it in place. How much torque those bolts take? Normally nothing, like 15 foot-pound. So I like them tight, but I don't go crazy. You know, that's pretty much what it took to remove it. So now we should be covered. Before you put the wheel on, make sure that the seals are all right and properly seated. Make sure that you can move this rotor freely, and make sure that it slides by doing this which it will normally do, because the piston will push forward and it will squeeze. Okay, this tire is not good. It's definitely suffering some issues with alignment. I don't know if you can tell, but it's clear. So now I will find a second jack and I'll try to rotate front to rear. This way we can have better tread from the rear to the front. Once again, if you want to see the rear pads, check out my other video, it's already on the channel, where we do the rear pads on 2011 Dodge Grand Caravan. If you enjoy automotive content, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.